last night, President Trump received a summons. So we haven't seen the actual indictment, but the summons contains a summary of what you're going to be indicted for. So people are able to put together at least an outline of the kind of charges President Trump is facing in federal court. He will be arraigned on Tuesday in Miami at the federal court there at 3 p.m. Eastern time, sometime between now and then the indictment should be released.
Let me tell you what's not clear. No one has seen the indictment other than the government. The lawyers that were representing Donald Trump yesterday, Jim Trusty and Attorney Rowley, have now been dismissed, or they have retired or resigned rather. They're out. There are new lawyers coming in. The espionage claim, which sounds, you immediately think of spying. That's not what this is. This is the retention. It appears, based on the summons, not the indictment, it appears that it's based on retaining documents and then an allegation that the former president then talked about those documents or maybe shared those documents with people in the room.
The summons is merely a skeletal outline of what it is that the government is actually charging a defendant with. The actual charging instrument, the indictment, will be disclosed either prior to arraignment or at arraignment. Arraignment is simply a fancy term for the presentation of formal charges against a defendant. They either read the indictment or they simply waive the reading and they give them a copy of it.
Everything seems to reek of politics when you're talking about the historic first time ever the federal government has prosecuted a former president.
And from a historical context, this has never happened. And for good reason. We don't put in jail our political opponents. The current administration, that's what you have to understand here. Who's bringing this case? All the focus seems to be on Jack Smith, the special counsel. But in reality, who's bringing the case? Well, the case is being brought by the Biden Department of Justice. The Biden administration's Department of Justice are the ones that are bringing this case against Donald Trump.
So think about this. Merrick Garland and the Biden administration, while Joe Biden is being investigated over his handling of classified documents or national defense documents as the law actually pertains to them, because classification didn't exist when this law was actually written or when it was rewritten and redrafted. So they are asking for 75 years in prison against a former president of the United States and the leading candidate for the Republican Party to challenge Joe Biden in the next election.
I think one of the things that really we need to focus on is we have not seen the actual charges yet. And if the charges are based on 18 U.S.C. 793, that code section does not use the word classification or declassification at all. It simply says information relating to the national defense or relating to which could be used to the injury of the United States or the advantage of any foreign nation. So classification or not does not play into that code section whatsoever. We're not saying that he gave these to a foreign power. We're not saying that he somehow is a traitor in that sense of the word, but we were negotiating with the National Archives about documents. He said I should keep them. They said, no, you should give them back. Why are you turning a civil case, an administrative case even, and ramping it up to a criminal case to destroy your political opponent?